Okay, try number 3.
I'm taking.
Mayang buntag, mayang hapon, mayang gabi, no matter where you are in the world.
Okay. Again.
Is it working this time?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about the. I hope there people actually do show up to this one. I see that there was 2 people logged on, so.
Me.
Well, it's still 1. I'm assuming that's you.
Okay.
So, my apologies about the false starts this morning. I'm not entirely sure what happened in all of that. That initially I know what happened, and that's actually part of today's topic. But suddenly the stream stopped. I tried to restart it, and it never connected. So I don't know entirely what happened. And when I restarted it, it didn't reconnect either. So I don't know what happened on that one. That one wasn't my fault that I know of.
Hi, Daniel. Oh, is that
Morning,
about
Mr. Daniel. How you doing?
The ants?
I appreciate it. I appreciate your patience in dealing with this one.
Yeah, issue with our ants.
Yes, that we've had some ant issues in the Philippines. Go figure.
Here and there, especially in this. Oh, in this.
In this townhome, we initially thought we had them pretty well lit.
Yeah.
When we first moved in, there were quite a few that showed up. We had a intense discussion over it, and we came to an understanding that I go out first thing in the morning and I go through and do an ant check, and anytime I see them, that I instantly start killing off and spraying and all that fun stuff. And anytime she sees them inside, she immediately lets me know, and we search for the trail until we find the hole that they're coming from. And we've been doing pretty well with keeping them at bay, realizing you're never going to beat the ant problem in the Philippines. At best, you can do is keep them at bay. And we've been doing very good at that, to the point where we really didn't need to get containers for any kind of food storage or anything like that. Well,
And so,
with all the rains and everything, I'm thinking it may have forced some of them in other foraging areas. Yeah, because the last week or so, all we've really done
try and yun and yun.
another subscriber friend's actually calling too. Hey, Mr. Steven, how you? Whoop.
We have internet problems, John. Huh?
I'm wondering if there's not internet issues to this morning. That we're actually live. You're kind of live with us.
Well, I saw your video come up, but I couldn't log in. That's why I was wondering.
I'm not sure if it's YouTube issues, internet issues, or John and computer issues. That we're actually trying to sort out the 3.
Connecting slow.
I'm thinking it may be a slow connection.
Dina said I was just about to call you too.
That I'm not sure, but I think it might be a slow connection this morning. I was having a little bit of trouble on the internet too, so I'm perfectly fine with that, Daniel. I got to blame it on the ants. The ants ate a cable. As a matter of fact, last night they actually were on the fiber line coming into the house. That we figured out where they were coming from.
Oh, man.
And like 4 different places, we've seen little tiny pinholes in the ceiling, right by the where the wall and ceiling meet, and that's where they're always coming out of. So I'm thinking there may be a nest in between floors.
Yeah.
So today or tomorrow, the borax and sugar is going to come out and just put it in some strategic places away from food to attract them to that, and hopefully get them to take it back to the nest and kill off the nest. That Cindy's actually walking, that sitting anywhere for any length of time is kind of hard on her. But we got some borax, and Mama and Papa had some sugar at the house down at their place, and we were trying it there. Adrian Ant Gel? Is it on Lazada? Daniel just mentioned try Adrian Ant Gel from Shopee. I've never heard of it. Have you? Mr. Steven?
I've never heard of it.
That
No, sir.
it couldn't be any worse than the situation now. So yeah, I may try it. If it's a gel, I might actually be able to put it up by where the holes are coming from. Because what I've been doing is just sticking a little bit of latex caulk and on the holes to seal up the holes. I'll have to give it a shot. I'll definitely check that one out. Yeah, because the little Raid ant traps, the little Raid bait stations, that I'm pretty sure you've seen them. Back in the States, that those have always worked pretty good, and it's the same concept. It's a bait that they take back to the nest and kill off the ants at the nest that way. But it just isn't available here. I don't see any Raid products at all here. So
Hey, we use the chalk. Bygone chalk.
I'll have to check that out, because Bygone actually worked. You know, that they've actually got some stuff that works pretty well. That's what I've been using so far. Is they've got an orange scented that I use outside, and then an unscented that an odorless that isn't truly odorless, but it works pretty well inside. That it doesn't stink up the place bad.
They have these little boxes of chalk. I know there was an Ace Hardware with 4 boxes, 4 little sticks of chalk.
I'll have to give that a shot. That it's probably exactly. Now, does it just repel them or does it kill them?
I can draw, if they have a line going up the wall, I draw a line at the top of the wall, at the bottom of the wall, and everything in between gets killed. I don't know how it works, but it does.
I may have to give that a shot and see if I can do that, kind of circle any of the holes that come out, see what happens.
Yep. Circle the holes, and they can't get out through the holes.
Yeah, that Daniel suggested. I'm actually reading the comments too. That he was talking about. He had ants coming on a rope to the hammock. He tied a rag soaked with cooking oil to it, and it stopped the ants from coming down the rope. Ants love grease and oil, but it winds up being like flypaper to them too if they're not super careful. And our stove the other night that I went to clean it at the end of the night, and there was 200 ant carcasses out of it. That when I started cleaning it off and looked at the sponge, So, may stick some that borax and sugar right by the stove too. That they just did some repairs downstairs to the cabinets down there underneath the sink and stove. That he said about 6 months, a year ago, that they had a termite problem. That Daniel said the cooking oil is an old sailor's trick to keep the ants from coming up the lines to the boat. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. A lot of stuff that they did, you just needed to keep them off the ship. And once when they got on a ship, you were screwed. Any mice, rats, anything like that they just kept on breeding horribly. But we'll definitely have to give that one a shot. But I'll definitely look up the chalk and that Advian ant gel. That I'm kind of making a mental note of what time that is so I can go back and read the comments and then re-find that Advian too. Yeah, rats, they just put a big metal or wooden plate on the rope, and it's big enough that it keeps them from the metal plates are big enough that keeps them from climbing on over the plate. That's but yeah, ants are just a horrible thing here in the Philippines. That Mom and Papa have a real bad problem with the ants down in Sabunga, out in the provinces, but they literally live in between a pair of pigsties. And Gemma was raising roosters, fighting cocks out back for a decade or more. And so, yeah, that ants are horrible down there. We got them some of the borax and the sugar and put it out, and they saw that it attracted them, and so they stopped doing it. That I couldn't make them understand that yes, it attracts them, so they take the bait back to the nest and kill the nest. And so the bait stations never kept on getting refilled though. So I don't know how well it was actually working down there because it never got continued. So, but yeah, ants are stupid invasive, and they, like I say, that they're coming through the tiniest of pinholes that I didn't even see the holes there. That the only way I've finally noticed them is the fact that they were coming out the holes, and I followed the trail back to where you saw them going in and out of it. That the other thing I'm starting to do too is go back through, and a lot of these hard water stains, I tried the vinegar solution. Daniel just made a comment about at night we had a big bowl with water in it with another bowl inside, and put up all the junk food or anything like that inside the bowl, kind of put a water barrier to it. That ants can walk on water. Ants are light enough that the surface tension of water will let them walk across it, but it would keep any of the pheromone trail, any of the chemical trail that they lay down from being developed, so that they would never, even if one or more of the foragers found it, there would be no trail back. And so he wouldn't be able to find his way back. And even if he does by some off chance find a way back, they wouldn't be able to get it. They wouldn't know where the trail was after the water. That yeah, ants will actually carry water globes back to the nest. that they can actually scoop up ants or scoop up water and carry it back as a globe because they're so small. And ants are kind of a cool little creature. Horribly annoying if they're not where you want them to be, but they're kind of a cool little creature. You ever get to close them out, Angels? Please.
Okay.
That yesterday we went down to one pavilion. It's a Gaisano project, and we had intended on doing grocery shopping. And Cindy went up to the clothing department and into the baby department. So we had our first baby stuff haul last night.
Hey, John, you mentioned come back to the States. Is that next year or this year?
Next year.
Coming back to the States?
Next year.
Probably this time next year.
Okay, this time next year. Okay.
Oh, John, no.
Hey, Mr. David, how you doing today? David Brown just showed up. We've got checks, the post-dated checks written up until April, and then had to do first and last month's rent in advance.
We opened the savings account this week.
And so, realistically, till the end of May, we should be covered for rent. So more than likely, we're going to be leaving at the end of May. No, we haven't. We've actually looked at a couple cribs in Metro.
Metro, yeah.
In Metro,
They don't use cribs in the Philippines.
we actually saw a travel crib that we really liked. I'm sorry, Steve?
They don't use cribs in the Philippines. Stop looking. They're going to be right between you two. That's where they'll stay until he's 16 years old.
I don't know. I've seen Mama Papa with Cindy or Jill or any of their kids in between them in their 30s.
Exactly. So don't worry about a crib. You don't need it.
Just put it in the middle. Oh, we'll just put that divider thingy and put pumpkin in the middle of us. I'll show you. Oh,
You had to open your mouth, didn't you?
Okay, now.
I had her talked into the crib.
Hey, I talked Molly into a crib. I talked Molly into 3 beds, and they've never been used, hardly.
That
I even talked her into building 3 bedrooms, and they haven't been used either.
They're using one bed and then all the kids are laying down like me.
when I okay, that everybody here is not from here, so when I first saw Cindy in the bed with Mama and Papa, it kind of made me, this ain't right. What's going on? And it wasn't until I got here and started seeing more of it and started realizing that's just perfectly normal here.
Yeah, because my brother too. The youngest.
You got to admit, the first time you saw it, it was probably weird for you seeing it too. That
I guess so.
it just.
I'm from the South, though, so when we, I guess not Mama and Papa, but we all sleep on pallets on the floors and stuff like that, it's just.
The kids sleeping together wouldn't have been that big of a deal. That, I knew families that had a 2-bedroom house and, had 4 kids of both sexes. And
Yeah.
the kids just slept in bunk beds. But,
Yeah.
that to me, after about 18 months, they start sleeping in their own bed. A lot of times, when they're real young like that, it's a crib in the bedroom, but it just kind of struck me as weird. But it's insanely normal here.
I see you walking down the street.
Daniel just commented, it's like 2 women, you see a lot here, 2 women walking down the streets holding hands.
Yeah, it's common.
Yeah.
It's
And then
stupid
also-
common here, but in the U.S., that would not be. It would imply something entirely different than just friends.
Oh yeah, that's why one time when me and other Filipinas were walking our hands and holding our hands together, we're in the shopping mall, and then all of you look at me like, I didn't realize that. I just,
Yeah, they were thinking you were way more than just friends. It's it's crazy.
It's so good. We do hiking too. We're holding, and then the American like look at stare us like, what are you doing?
Oh yeah, that. Do you go back and read the super chat at all, Steve?
Read your chats when you get through with them.
Yeah, do you read any of them?
When I go back and watch one of your live shows, I try to read through the comments
That
because you'll make a comment, I don't understand what it's going about, so I have to read what they.
I know a few people they'll go through and read the comments more than they'll pay attention to what was said. We've got a subscriber from New Zealand, and I've heard several Americans brag about how great the New Zealand immigration system is. I've kind of directed him to him, and he's going through some insane, stupid stuff with the immigration system in New Zealand right now. It's just as broken as the American system, just in different ways. Daniel Ford made a comment about it's just like the guys with their arms on each other's shoulder here. That my youngest brother-in-law, that he's one that'll come up and put his arm around you and stuff like that, and it because of the American mentality, it kind of makes me a little uncomfortable. But I know it's not. That it's common here, but it's just so uncommon there that it kind of makes me feel uncomfortable at times. But I've never said anything directly to him, and it's kind of weird.
Or if you go to any party over there, the guys will dance with guys and girls will dance with girls too.
Well, the guys that ride 2 and 3 guys on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Other than a breakdown situation or something like that, you would never see that back in the States. And here it's just normal that they'll walk up to a scooter and give the guy 20 pesos to take him somewhere. And it's just the way it is. We saw one the other day that the guy was riding on back and the girl was driving. And that was something you would never see in the States. And it's kind of funny. All right, Cindy, time for fashion show.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve's instructed. Where are you, Steve?
Sitting on the first service plaza in Ohio on the turnpike coming out of Indiana.
Oh, okay.
I drove across from Omaha to here today.
Oh.
All right, Daniel, can you hear him? I've got you right underneath the camera, so I'm not sure whether or not the microphone would be picking you up. It might. But
I think I hear an echo sometime of me talking in the background.
it might be. It might be. Okay. You are being heard. Went from no stream to all of a sudden multiple streams. Cindy got a new hat.
Yeah, because all my hats, I give them away and nothing left for me. Huh. Okay.
I don't get the view of the hat. I can see a little bit of the hat. There it is.
Oh, okay, yeah. We're
Now
getting
you're
two
ready.
different
Now you're
views.
ready to go. Now you're ready to go to the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, that's my dress.
I got new fashion outfits.
Yeah.
You stand up. It's a dress.
What do you think? Does it make my butt look big?
That's perfectly common over there too, John. So be careful.
Yeah, that's one that still makes me uncomfortable.
I'm not showing this bag as it's obvious. I'm not. It's for.
We got baby shirts.
Maybe sure. Yeah.
And of course, they got all different sayings on them. We got one that's for football.
There, football. Yeah.
They're gonna think, is it a boy?
We got one for a leopard riding a bicycle. And then just a real cutesy little teddy bear.
It's a mix.
It's kind of a mix. What are these again?
Binder. It's for in the middle of the stomach.
Now, Steve,
Where's
did
the
you do
belly
this?
button?
That they got some kind of binder cloth that they wrap around the kid's tummy until the belly button cord falls off?
Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
I think it's the wrong color for you, John.
Cindy also had to get a binder for her belly.
I'll push it back in.
You know, too. I don't know. Something new to me. I never saw it in the States, but
Yeah. We do that so that your tummy go back to small.
yeah.
Okay.
You better help. So you know like what mama.
You got to get the mittens for the hands. Little mittens for the hands too.
Oh yeah, we have that one. Oh there.
Daniel Ford thinks the dress was the wrong color for me. Yeah, I don't do black terribly well unless it's a Harley t-shirt. I got my glasses. What is this?
Bird's eye, but that you said that's a receiving blanket.
Have
You got confused.
you ever heard of a bird's eye blanket? I've always called them a receiving blanket.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Daniel said, can you imagine you were that one small and then it's gonna grow? Okay. Daniel knows.
That's yeah, I why they call it a bird's eye, I have no idea, but they took it out and showed it to me what it was, and I'd call it a receiving blanket, but I guess not here.
Never heard of it.
Booties. Boots.
We got the cloth booties. Somewhere in here, she's got the cloth mittens too.
Yeah,
We did not get it.
Oh, you didn't get the mittens?
No, we did not get it. Next time.
Okay, she was supposed to have gotten the mittens.
No, because you're revealing the color. Sorry.
Did you say you were revealing the color, John?
Not the bag, okay, not the bag. Not this. Okay, go ahead. You're the one buying it. And I said, it's a boy, it's not a girl. And so it's for the mama. Bag.
We got a diaper bag that actually converts to a backpack. And I thought that was kind of cool, and it's pretty well built. Yes, it's pink.
It's for me, not for the baby.
The the radiologist
Pink.
said about 60-40 girl. That it appears to be a girl at this point, but they admitted it's a little bit early to tell. But they're going 60-40 for a girl. So.
Oh, we have another socks. That's a cute color.
I don't know how well this shows up, but they're actually kind of orange more than pink. And so we figured that would work either way.
Oh, that's it. And then my dress.
Oh. The last few weeks, it has been insanely humid here, and it makes it feel uncomfortable. And so we got a USB personal fan that we can stuff in sunshine so that Cindy can have some air movement.
You like the way everything is in place. Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, that's my dress. I'm sure. You wear it, John. Go be the model. No, just do it. Be a model, John. Oh my God, you stick on
Well, I like your shirt, John.
it's kind of made to
Don't try to say that's Cindy's because we know that's yours.
Nah, if it was Cindy's, it would be a Hello Kitty. She'd never heard of who Tom and Jerry was.
We had heard it. When I'm in the US, huh?
And
Strong, sweet,
yeah, she's getting these that are kind of cool. That they're the body suits.
for swimming.
That way it can be for swimming, and showed her that
The ball.
you can actually wear them like you would a shirt, and you just wear them with pants or skirt or something like that, and that way they don't ride up on your belly. So a lot of pregnant women I know will wear body suits in place of shirts for that exact reason.
Daniel said, "Oh no, Tom and Jerry."
I think it's no Tom and Jerry.
Oh,
That
okay.
I've never really seen Tom and Jerry here in the Philippines.
We see that.
That
It's become popular.
the old cartoons.
Oh, you're right.
That yeah, a lot of the older American cartoons aren't terribly common here. And that's the first time I've seen a Tom and Jerry shirt here. That it's kind of cool. I used to love watching them as a kid, but that was a couple years ago. The Foghorn Leghorn was always one of my more favorite characters. Kind of sounds like you, Steve. Yeah, I know that's a racist statement today in today's society, but hey, what can I say? Yeah, John Ray is teaching. He just moved into a one-bedroom house in Fayetteville. House or apartment? She left me. I have no. John Ray get into a house or an apartment?
House.
A one-bedroom house?
Yeah, 650.
An actual house?
Actual house, 1 bedroom, and then
I don't think I've ever seen a one-bedroom house.
we had 1 bedroom house with kitchen and all the stuff.
Okay. Yeah, he got a one-bedroom house. She's saying house for
$650.
$650 a month in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Ironically, that's actually a little bit less than we're paying here. April is going to be leaving on the 24th of July, and we'll be joining him after she gets to the States and goes through orientation.
Yeah, it's 6 minutes away, the school,
And so her school is 6 minutes away, and Kuya's is
9 minutes.
it is 9 minutes away, about 10 minutes away. So that they're going to carpool and all that fun stuff. That I guess Kuya rented leased a car or bought a car or something like that. And that they're going to be there for a while. You know, Kuya's already talking about, John Ray's already talking about extending contract when the time comes if possible.
His EFA contract is 3 years, and then Korea will extend another, and then hopefully apply a really working.
A permanent, yeah.
Yeah.
That they're kind of hoping they can use this, and I guess others have, to get an actual permanent green card to become lawful permanent residences. And so, yeah, it'd be kind of cool if they did. That for Cindy to apply for siblings to come over can be a decade or more for a wait time.
Yeah.
For Mama and Papa to apply to come, that one's almost a done deal from the minute you apply for it. So that way Mama and Papa will have kids in a pair of kids in the States anyhow. But yeah, going back to the States is going to be kind of an interesting thing. It's going to be, after being gone for so long, this is the longest I've ever been out of the States. Any other time for me leaving's always just been, a couple weeks vacation or something like that. That it's never been for more than 30 days. And at this point, it'll be almost 2 years.
Did you see
It'll be about 18 months.
the comment?
Which one?
I say.
You don't get it.
No.
Foghorn Leghorn was the white rooster on Tom and Jerry's.
Oh.
Or no, he was on Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes, yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, Tom and Jerry were Tom and Jerry. They weren't part of Looney Tunes.
I thought Tom and Jerry were their own show.
Yeah, they were an independent one, but Foghorn Leghorn would always say that was one of his things. I say, boy, Steve probably could do it with it way better.
I'm telling you, boy.
Yeah, there we go.
That's so cool.
I can't quite get the intonation right, but I can get close. And yeah, he was a Southern gentleman rooster.
Oh, okay.
He was hilarious. That a lot of theirs are considered racist anymore. I don't know. I give up trying to figure that stuff out. Who's doing what today? Cindy and I kind of got into a discussion about North Carolina, and that it's not a terribly great welfare state as far as being able to get a lot of benefits from it. So therefore, a lot of the welfare numbers are kept pretty well down, and the state and the economy kind of shows it. So because Kuya was complaining for a 1-bedroom in Orlando area, on top of it being Orlando area, was over $1,000 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment in Orlando area, where he was at.
Yeah.
That it was just unaffordable to live there, and the type of students he was dealing with were a challenge at best.
Yeah.
He would typically wind up calling the campus security into his class at least once a week.
No. 3 times a week.
Oh, I just got corrected. It was like 3 times a week. And yeah, he was not, he actually thought about coming back. He actually thought about coming back. It was that bad for a while. and he finally got used to it. And
I can imagine.
they had one teacher come over, and within 90 days jumped out of a window and committed suicide.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
They had one female teacher that showed up, did the orientation, did all that stuff, spent one day in class and left. That she told him, "Get me out of here. I'm done."
It's
And
nothing like the Filipino schools.
Now the teachers here are generally pretty well respected, and it's kind of like teachers were when we grew up. They were pretty well respected. It was still a pretty respected occupation. And yeah, today
Well, yeah, but me and you, John, if we got up in school,
it
not only would the principal whip my butt, but I get home, Mama was home from work first. I get my butt whooped by Mama, and then I had to sit in my room until my dad came home. Then I get my butt whooped again. I
and
get 3 whoopings for one offense.
and they didn't question the teacher.
No, not at all.
The teacher said you did it. You did it. Yeah. And yeah, that when my son graduated in 2012. Yeah, 2012. And when he was in high school, we made all of his teachers' conferences and stuff like that. That is one thing I will give the ex, is she was more than willing to make the time to be there for his education and stuff. And every teacher we had, that he had, made comment. We were one of the few parents that actually showed up and appeared to be concerned in any way. And my father didn't always attend the meetings, but my mother, any of the parent-teacher conferences, anything like that, that she was at every one of them. There was never a missed thing. And yeah, that there was more than once I got into a world of crap after one of those things. Daniel made comment that kids in the Philippines still have more respect for their elders. And it's not terribly uncommon. It's kind of weird to me, but it's cool that the kids will come up and do that Manny Po thing, that bless me thing, and it's in way more ways it's cool than it is uncomfortable. And I've seen kids in the first time this happened, Cindy saw it. She was kind of taken back, to say the least. Kids in a grocery store or Walmart or Target or something like that, just having a freaking meltdown, calling their mother, parents, every name in the freaking book, screaming and kicking at them, and the parent doing absolutely nothing. Oh, just quiet down, Johnny. It's okay. We'll get you what, and placating the kid in any way that they can to shut them up. And if I would have had that kind of meltdown back then, yeah, I'm not entirely sure I would have made it back home. I'm not entirely sure I would have made it out of the store. When my son was growing up, that he started to have a meltdown, one of us immediately took him out of the car. That there was a couple times that I'd wind up in the restroom and him and I having an intense discussion until he finally mellowed out and chilled out before we go back out. That there was more than once that we wound up leaving a restaurant. By the time he was 8, 9 years old, he understood that if I tell him, hey, it's cool, but just chill, just cool your jets. It's not public behavior. He would generally do it because he understood the next thing was going to be, come on, we're out of here. I don't care. Well, you said you were going to get that. I don't care. We're done. We're out of here. If you can't behave in public, we won't be in public. And that some people complained about me doing that, but more people complimented how well behaved kid was in public. And you know, it's just respect and decency for the people around you. So I don't have a problem with the few detractors that were complaining about it versus the behavior that turned around. And kid he may not be the places I think he should in life, but he shows up to work, he pays his bills, he does things the correct way. He is a positive influence on society, in my opinion.
We're trying to get Sammy to learn the importance of work right now, and Molly had one of her helpers quit, so now Sammy's trying to help Mom at the store a little bit. He's the new delivery boy in Bustamante.
Yeah, when
he wrote me a text the other day. He said, "Daddy, I'm sweating like a pig." I said, "It's about time."
Ain't nothing wrong with that. I remember doing hay when I was a little bit young. Daniel just commented. I was just going to say that when my kids had a meltdown, they got swept up and taken out to the car. And then David made comment that he was taken a little bit back, being called sir all the time in the Philippines. That he's a little rough around the edges and it took a while to get used to it. But decency and respect seem to have a lot more place here than they do elsewhere. That
I would do the manifold to some of the elders when I meet them.
To Cindy's grandmother, to a couple of her uncles, yeah, I've done that, and just out of respect. And I kind of keep an eye out for Cindy, and if she does, I will.
Yep. That's the same thing. If Molly does it, then I do it.
And it's not always an age thing in particular. That there's people that will come up when they're introduced to Mama and Papa, they'll do Manipo to Mama and Papa, but not to Cindy and I. And I'm actually a few months older than her mother.
Yeah.
And so I accept that. It's not necessarily the age, but the position that you're respecting. And that's something that I've tried to instill in my son. And I at moments I think he gets it, but at moments I'm not terribly sure. You know, I can respect the position somebody's in, even if I don't respect the person in it. And I've had a lot of bosses and supervisors over years that, in my personal opinion, they were a worthless waste of human skin. But I still gave them the respect and difference due a foreman or a supervisor. I've had other foremen or supervisors that I have had a lot of respect for as a person, as well as a manager position. And those guys that I will give all kinds of respect due to.
Yeah.
But I don't have to like the person to give them the respect due their position. Makes it easier, but I don't have to like them. Daniel just make out, and he knows the guy that blesses the helpers. And yeah, I can see that out here.
What did he comment?
He knows a guy that blesses the helpers, that does the manifold for the helpers. Yeah, I could see somebody doing that here. That they're, respecting the job that they do and crap like that, and then just trying to encourage them, show them respect, whatever. That there is racism here to a point, but it's more of a classism than a racism. That there is some tension between the classes here.
And you see it with when the mountain people come down to the town.
Especially the provincial people coming into town. It's not race; it's just class. That it's social classes that more conflict than.
We're higher up than you.
And that's just it. You probably saw that a little bit in the South like that too, that the social status was a big deal growing up for you in the South.
I didn't, maybe they looked down at me, I don't know, but I didn't say that much because my father accepted everybody.
That
It didn't matter.
and that's really what it should be. And I don't have a problem with pretty much anybody. Everybody's got some skill. Everybody is important in some way. And that's what I try to find is that going back and through reading some of the comments that David Brown commented, I often tell a boss or foreman to piss off only if they're an idiot. That I've had more than one foreman that I've had some less than positive words for at a moment, but I would choose to do them privately, not publicly, to try and make them look like an idiot that they are.
Happens in the military too.
My brother, that he was a career, he was 12 years active duty, and then like 12 years active reserves or reservists or whatever. And that was part of the reason why he got out for a few years, is he just had too much conflict with one of the officers that he was dealing with, and he couldn't get a transfer to get away from it. And then he finally just said, screw it, my enlistment's done, bye.
That's kind of where I was at too.
And a few years afterwards, that one of the guys he was working with made comment about being in the reserves and talked to him about it. And he went back and looked and realized it wasn't that bad. And, figured just a few months, a few weeks, a year he could deal with. And so that's what he wound up doing, is finishing out his retirement in reserves. That he did most of the time with the Army Corps of Engineers. Daniel asked, do you know why Filipinos don't like to get dark? Because that was one thing that surprised me around here, is seeing so many Filipinas out at the beach covered from neck to wrist to ankle and in these wetsuits and stuff at the beach. And it was kind of funny to me that they so horribly tried to avoid getting any darker than they were. That they almost look like a Muslim woman going down to the beach.
For some reason, they think they like that white color for some reason.
Yeah.
They envy Sam over there for some reason.
That I'll frequently post in private groups, that I'll post all the skin whitening stuff that you see here, kind of joking around about, I don't think this would sell terribly well back in the States. But
the States spend thousands of dollars trying to get dark, and the Filipinos spend thousands of dollars trying to get white.
It took me 6 months or more to convince Cindy, and finally some of the girls at her work, were asking about, how do you get so dark, and how do you get so, and bragging about her complexion, and because she was one that was complaining about that she's too dark, and that she wasn't terribly happy with her skin color.
It's the status and the class too, like because Daniel said.
Well, there you go again. Because if you're dark, that means you work in the field all the time.
Yeah.
So you're nobody. if you're white, you've been inside, you
the
got
office.
your college degree, and you're working in the office. Yeah, I can see that.
It's kind of like being called a redneck.
Yeah. I got the farmer's tan.
Way too many years out in construction sites, and most of that time they didn't have long sleeve shirts that were decent that you were able to wear during the summers. But it's only been in the last 5-10 years that they came up with these long sleeve shirts that were breathable enough to where they were tolerable during the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel just commented. Daniel Ford just commented the same thing you just said. That they don't want to be confused with people who work out in the fields or farms, or from the mountains. David made comment. There's a lot of people that have a piece of paper and a management job that they have no idea about the work that should be done, and sadly, I've seen. Over the years, I've seen that a lot.
I have to agree with that very much. Even that's another thing in the military. You have NCOs that can stay back in the rear, go to school, get promoted. You have somebody like myself that worked all the time, never could get a chance to stay at the rear to go to school. I never could get promoted because I didn't have the schooling.
Yeah, Dan commented, I got the biker tan. Yeah, that's without a question true too. A few years on an Ultra Glide kind of helped, darken things up even more.
Yeah.
But I was so used to the winter and the cold and everything else from the Northeast that even during the dead of winter in Arizona, I'd be running around in a t-shirt that I just never really wore a long sleeve shirt at all. That as long as the sun was out, I was perfectly fine. I'd keep a jacket in a long sleeve shirt, a nice flannel shirt, and either the tour pack or saddlebag. Then when the sun went down, it'd get a little bit chilly for me, and I'd throw something on. But during the day, it never bothered me in the least. Here I keep I got the tour pack top box, and we'll throw a rain suit that I brought some frog dogs with me. And so if I'm riding and it looks like there's any chance of rain, I'll throw the frog dogs in there. That when I park or whatever, I can throw the bag small enough I can throw it inside the helmet, so I can still put the helmet inside the top box. Here they're called a top box, not a tour pack. So it just kind of new wording for the same thing. Morning, Mr. Markey. How you doing? Yeah, that we actually had quite a lengthy discussion on the ants here in the Philippines early on. That Marcus Schumach that he just showed up. He's another vlogger from over in Negros. That he'd been out of Dumaguete for quite a while, and here about a year or so ago moved to a. I'm pulling a blank. He moved into one of the province towns on more central Negros. That he's basically almost straight across from Mual.
Okay.
That you really don't know the geography for Cindy.
Say this name for me.
How do you pronounce that again?
Himalulu.
Himalulu.
Himalulu. Yeah, that's what you said yesterday or the other day.
that, some of these words I can run through real quick in my mind and pronounce. Some of them, yeah, no, that ain't happening. That there's a town here in Cebu. The first time I read it on the sign, I thought it said Dumajigi.
Hey,
That it's Dumanhug.
Wow. Totally different.
Like I said, when I first saw it on the road sign, it flashed into my mind as Dumajigi, and so in my mind ever since, it's got stuck on being Dumajigi. David Brown McGavin, our stepdaughter is like that. She's gone dark. She dislikes it. We have indigenous people here called the Maori, and we tell her she looks like them. Yeah, David's from New Zealand. That Moana, that Disney cartoon that came out a little bit ago.
Yeah.
That it's the Maori, the same tribes in that area, the Pacific Islander tribes. That Marky was supposed to come out to Cebu, but with all the silliness going on, that I guess he's found ways to get the immigration stuff and the passport stuff and all that good rot done down in Dumaguete instead of having to come over to Cebu. But he's talking about getting a banca, doing a fiberglass, doing a thin plywood shell and a fiberglass version of them. Kind of doing a home construction.
Huh.
That yeah, he's also just building a house, and Himalulu. That yeah, I'm gonna have to pronounce that one about 10 times before I finally get it down right. That with all the different dialects, different languages that are here, and so many of them being so related, that it's kind of funny. That what was it Papa told me to ask Jane?
oh, it's a Leongo.
Right. What was it? What was the word? There's a word here in Visayan and Ilongo, where Marky's at, is done by Iloilo, up in that area, up in the northern end of,
I forgot.
but, Mahalo, no. It actually means something that common here, and I can't remember. And
Women, except for that.
And Ilongo, it actually talks about pubic hair, pubic region for a female. And it's a word you can wind up using unintentionally. Ask Papa. Oh, he's not. I'm gonna have to ask Papa. I'll post that one a little bit later. That I'm gonna ask our friend Jane about it. That oh.
Hey, that's something like I did at the store that one night. I don't know if I told you that story. They were serving puto. Puto.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hollering out, puto. And what it is, I guess the pail, the penis, And all these ladies were out there laughing at me because I was trying to sell my penis to them.
Oh, yeah.
But,
He said Buddha. B-U-T-O.
Buto. Like Buto?
It's for the girl. It's the sex organ of the girl here in Bisaya.
Yeah, don't say that in the
What?
Buto. Buto would be
Yeah.
for the female parts anatomy.
Well,
But
they were telling me up in where I live at, it's the male. You know, I was trying to sell myself.
and that wouldn't be uncommon to have words like that kind of morph a little bit, because
Yeah.
here in Visayan, mahal means expensive, but in Tagalog, mahal means beloved or lover.
But sometimes it's also mahal.
Which, yeah, love can be kind of expensive, so I guess there may be a little bit of relation there. And again, asawa here is specifically female, or wife, husband. Asawa in Visayan is
The wife.
the wife. Bana is husband. In Tagalog, they just have asawa for spouse. They don't have words to differentiate husband and wife. And so to have it mean from a female organ here to a male organ up there wouldn't surprise me in the least.
It was just funny. I was out there at the store hauling. I was hauling that out all day long. These ladies were over there laughing at me.
That's well, it's kind of like asking for a napkin here, asking the waitress for a napkin here. That a napkin would be a sanitary pad, not a tableware. That if you want something for the table, you ask for a tissue.
Tissue, yeah.
And to me, if you ask for a tissue, I'm going to hand you a Kleenex. So it just.
Well, that's usually what you get anyways.
Well, yeah, that's another topic altogether too. But I've never seen half napkins here before until I got here. That yeah, somebody just made comment in Spanish. Puto has an entirely different meaning than it does here in the Philippines. That I guess it used to mean male gigolo in Spanish, but here it's a rice snack that
Oh, puto.
yeah, Puto, puto.
Puto. Yeah,
That I had some.
a lot of that right now.
Yeah, I've got some Mexican friends back in the States, and the first time I went to an Asian store and saw boxed puto mix, I took some pictures of that and sent them texts. You know, hey, you want some? And one of them actually accused me of photoshopping that. But yeah, it's definitely interesting, some of the terminologies that they use here. One thing that we just opened a bank account, yet another bank account, and they handed us the form and told me to accomplish the form. I'd never heard that phrasing, you know, that it's always, you know, can you fill this out or can you complete the form for us? You know, that I'd never heard that until I got here. And that's just the standard way of saying it here. What were some of the other ones that over a while, over the years since Cindy and I have been together, there's been a bunch of stuff that she said. It's just not the way I expect to hear it. We've even done a couple of videos about it. May be English, but it's not the same English I speak. But And I tell it often enough. I probably told everybody about the slipper story. How he wound up with Kano slippers and Panay slippers at the house. When she first got there to the U.S., and I'm talking like within days, the first got there. I was doing something in the garage and asked her to go get my slippers. And I was talking about my moccasins.
No, you're not saying slippers.
Yeah.
Did you say slippers?
I said slippers.
Oh, you're right.
And so I asked her for, just go grab my slippers. And that, the moccasins or crap you wore around the house, that's what I've always
Slippers, this one.
been raised with what slippers were.
This one.
And I knew they were right there by the bed. They were in plain sight. It took her quite a while to come back. And so when she came back, she had a pair of flip-flops. And so where's my slippers? And she just kind of nudged them a little bit closer to me. And so I asked her, what do you call those? She said, slippers. And so I had to tell her, no, that most people here are going to tell you they're flip-flops. Yeah. And her English was really good, but the stress of the situation and everything else, still being new, she tried it, and it was either flip-flops or flip-flops. But flip-flops, the back-to-back FP sound just was not coming out at that moment. And after I got done laughing and kind of having fun with the situation, that we agreed that from here on out, my slippers will be called Kano slippers, and flip-flops will be called Panay slippers. So we still wind up doing that more often than not. That because calling them, calling the flip-flops slippers still don't work for me. But I didn't realize I'd been on here quite this long. It's an hour and 15 minutes already.
Well, I got to go anyways, John.
So
Molly just came online, so I got to talk to her too.
Oh yeah, Mama takes way bigger priority than I do. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you coming and joining us for a while today.
Yeah, I enjoy this type of it.
But this is actually pretty cool. I may see if I can get one or somebody to do this once a week or so, to do this, to have a chat like this. It was kind of cool. I appreciate you doing that. You gave me a new idea.
All right.
Enjoy, guy.
Have a good night.
All right, bye-bye.
Oh, take a look
Bye,
at that. Bye, Steve. Okay, Steve. Look at some of the comments before you.
Yeah, I've been.
You can see you focusing.
Well, that's what I've been doing, is I've been reading them so that he's been hearing them too.
You have a new one, Greg, or I thought that she picked up.
I think that's great Pullman.
Huh?
I think that's great. And Greg and Diffnia.
Oh, cool.
Diffnia says slipper.
Thanks, Greg. And
yeah,
they
that
have
one.
a channel too. We need to subscribe.
Oh, they do?
Greg, yeah, they just uploaded their videos and
Oh, you just started a channel, Greg?
they have a YouTube. Or they uploaded their videos to YouTube. With their adventures. We need to look at that.
Okay.
Oh, see, he said yes.
Yeah, David, Sawa is one of those ones that covers both in Tagalog, but in a couple of other dialects, it's one or the other.
I want to figure out why I don't just-
Yeah, Marky, building a boat can be kind of pricey. It's sometimes actually more pricey than having it built.
Yeah, this Doodle's boat is costing us I mean, Mama, 20,000.
Yeah, her brother just had one built for
Fishing,
fishing for how much?
25 or 20,000.
For
But
20 or
it's not
25,000
motorized.
pesos, but it's not motorized. It's set up to be motorized, but
Yeah.
he just had it built, and we'll put the motor on after he makes some money with it. They're actually doing fishing right now with it, and not too bad. Yeah, slipper is referred to as a flip flop, not house slippers, not bath slippers, but a flip flop.
House slippers.
That actually Steve reads the comments, so he will definitely see that, and I didn't see it quick enough to tell him. And he's actually parked for the night anyhow. I'll have to check out that channel, Greg. I hadn't noticed it yet. Cindy just told me about it.
Yeah, it's in his Facebook. You could click it and you could see his YouTube. Yeah.
That's I don't know what they can do for termite treatment, but you might want to make sure whatever wood it is termite proof, because this seemed to be a bit of an issue here. That we had some problem, not with termites, but damage that they'd done. We opened a cupboard door and it quite literally fell off. That yeah, for a long, I had a channel long before I met Cindy that I posted a couple stupid things on it, but it never really taken off with it. And a few years ago, I started trying to do a little bit more regular on it stuff to do stuff with it.
Yeah, that's the name of the channel that is the one that he's using. So, well, to subscribe.
Cindy just said we will subscribe to your channel now, Greg. But yeah, yeah, Mark, yeah, I appreciate it. You know, where you're coming from, we've got some stuff to do too. But I did want to catch up with the comments.
Okay, I'm subscribed.
Okay, you're subscribed. You have at least one subscriber, and here in a couple minutes you'll have two. But from Cebu City, mabuhay.
Thank you.